Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pub Table Racers. It is January 11th, 1/11/2022. My name is Tim Packman. Sitting next to me is the one, the only
Warren Brosell.
He is my partner and friend of decades now. We can say that.
Decades.
That's it. This weekend, the Buffalo Bills play the Patriots, and as you can see in the playoffs, I am ready to go.
All right.
All right. How was your weekend?
Great.
So, anything special going
on? No, not really. You?
Went and did the Dillon Motor Speedway, big street stock nationals on the Speed 51 Racing America. It was great. It was they had 60 something entries for a 31 lap race.
Great.
For the street stocks, 2,500 to win.
Was it cold?
It was. I left here at 5:30 on Saturday morning. Drove there. It went all the way. It was 23 degrees. I got there. It warmed up to all of 24.
Nice.
It was cold that day. And the next day it was 68 degrees.
Okay.
So good racing.
Not bad.
Good time doing TV stuff, whatever you want to call it. So hope they asked me to come back. And I know a lot of you saw it. And I appreciate the comments.
I did.
Text messages, and
I
it was
put
good.
it out there for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So anyhow, this show is brought to you by
RacingJunk.com.
Buy, sell, trade. Anything you need. It has wheels involved. Give them a call. Log on. Check them out. A lot of great things there.
Wheels or any other motorsport.
Any other motorsports. You can buy a shop.
Or
there.
water sports.
Water sports. You can buy a
Right.
shop. Anything you want. Snowmobiles. Have at it.
Yeah.
Also, our partnership with the Garage Shop. Go to their YouTube channel called The Garage Shop. And a lot of great videos up there now. We've had a bunch since PRI. And a lot of good things coming up we'll be doing there as well. And also, we should remind people, we do have a YouTube channel called
Pub Table Racers.
Very good. That's it. So you can go in there and watch, subscribe.
Just
that's
to
all.
drink a beer.
I know. That's why
that's coming.
That's why I did that. That's pretty good. So we have that. Also, we have merchandise.
We do.
So racing season is starting. So get your hats, your tumblers, get your stickers, and we have T-shirts too, like Warren's wearing right there. So here's the deal. Any purchase made, middle of month, anything made, you get 2 free stickers with every purchase. Not every item, but every purchase.
Sounds good.
Is that it?
Sounds
This will blow the budget, will it?
No.
Don't tell the manager, the financial manager.
Yeah.
We're giving away stickers. It's stickers. So get that. That's pubtableracers.com. Be sure to log on. Let's see, anything going on? We had testing today at Daytona.
We had Daytona testing.
What'd you think? You saw some on YouTube. What'd you think of it?
So we had it on at the shop. It came on at noon. Then I came home,
Yeah.
ate, took a shower, still had it on the whole time.
Right.
Guys are busy down there. It looks like
Tandem's
the
back?
tandem is coming.
That's right.
It's trying to come back.
Got it. And it's legal. Whereas before it wasn't, right?
Well, it was.
Okay.
You just couldn't do it because of how they had the cars with their ductwork in the radiator and the grill opening and things like that.
And all that's all changed.
Right.
Okay. We forgot one very important thing.
We did. I didn't. I've been. I'm on my
Pre-game.
third one.
Nice. I love your show prep. I take notes. You drink beer. We have a bucket of Miller High Life in front of us
Because we're going to sit around, we're going to drink beer, and we're going to talk about racing. All shapes and forms and sizes.
Especially with our guests tonight.
Yep.
Cheers to you and cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
Grab your beer. Get ready. We're going to start. We've already started the show. But tonight we have I got to take a sip. So cheers you.
Take a sip.
Bob said to get your fluids during this time of year, so I'm going to.
Yep. It almost looks like chicken noodle soup, but it's cold.
And the results are much different.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of sodium like chicken noodle soup.
No, you don't need a chicken.
So here's the deal. Here's how we're doing things. We are going to start taking your questions at 8:30. Questions and comments starting at 8:30. A little something we're doing different with the show. And speaking of sponsors, we are looking for sponsors. It's not that much. The one we had, Rapid Removal, we appreciate Darren Russell. He said, I'm good. I said, okay, we appreciate it. So we are now looking for title sponsors. This could be your company's studios for every show.
Right. And
we
it's
will,
very reasonable.
very reasonable.
reasonable.
Because you know what? Beer isn't free, and neither is electricity. So we're not looking to make money. We're just looking to break
Pay
even
the
on
bill.
the beer.
Pay the power bill.
Pay the bill. And,
No.
and our general manager
That
takes care of it.
We got it.
All right, here we go. Our guest tonight, I am very honored and very thrilled to have him join us. He comes from Tonawanda, New York, outside of Buffalo. He's known as Andy J. His real name's Andy Jankowiak. I've known this kid since he was 7, 8 years. We're trying to figure it. It's been 1995. The first time I saw him, I was like, who's the kid with the spiked hair and red tips? Since then, he's shown me. He has won in street stocks, Sportsman, TQ Midgets. He's a TQ Midget indoor champion. Last year, he's the Race of Champions Modified Series champion. Won that, the L. Gerber Trophy. He was just named the Real Ken Schrader Real Racer Award winner, which is a pretty big honor.
Yeah.
The
Anything connected to Ken Schrader's a big deal.
But here's the deal. He was up for it 4 times.
Okay.
And I sat there and watched him not get it. I don't want to say lose. Not get it.
Okay.
And I was bummed. So this time when he got it in Indy, I went to make sure he actually got it. It wasn't like a farce. But he got it, and Ken Schrader knew, and so he knew. This year he took on ARCA Racing. Did a great job. Top 10s. A lot of TV time. They talked about him being a pizza delivery guy during the week, which is true. And he's going to tell us a story how he mortgaged and gave up everything to buy his ARCA car and didn't tell a damn soul. With that said, he's now the Eastern Motorsports Press Association Driver of the Year. I mean, it's a real honor to have this guy on. And I'm going to the 4-score banquet in Buffalo this week.
Right.
It's going to be like 6 degrees.
Because of the ARCA race, currently divorced.
What's that? Oh, no, not married.
Well, never married. That was a joke.
No, I got
if you mortgage everything, you're going to be
nobody to answer to but himself.
You're going to be real single real fast.
Exactly. I'm going to the 4-score banquet. I'll be there. And Pete Traubman, our buddy Pete, getting inducted. Also, Bobby Weber went to high school with him. He's getting inducted. And I'm sure Andy might be getting some awards there, but he'll have to get them afterwards. He won't be there. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Andy Jankowiak. The crowd goes wild. Jankowiak, that's right.
Jankowiak. It's all there. You just
it's all there. You just
right.
If you just say it phonetically, it just fits.
They got me to drink a beer in indoor season.
It's a very
light
beer.
Get right in here with us, man.
Yes, sir.
Get right in the picture there. First of all, thank you for coming on. We are very honored to have you. Appreciate it. Drinking some water. Cheers. Miller 64.
Yeah. Gotta stay light.
You just came off. So just last weekend, you raced in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yep, we did.
TQ Midget finished
second.
2.
Ryan Flores, your previous guest.
We've had on before. And then this weekend you're going to?
Dayton International Speedway.
To test?
The ARCA car.
You are busy. I mean, you don't stop. You don't stop. So, first of all, like I said, it's an honor to have you on. I've known you forever. Lancaster Speedway, we spent a lot of time there together.
Yes, you did.
I've typed your name in press releases. I've said your name a lot as an announcer. And as a track president, I wrote your name on checks a lot.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, we come from the same home, you know.
Yeah.
I remember growing up listening to you announcing and all that, being in the stands, and you know.
A little annoying.
No, he was awesome.
He's always good.
No, it was always something different with Tim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Always kept it interesting. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Great promoter, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. It was a blast back then. We had the Batman car and all.
Yeah.
We had the Batmobile and one night we had the Batmobile. We had a Kiss tribute band, and I rode around the track on my dad's Triumph in my Evil Knievel costume. That was one night.
Yep.
That's kind of fun.
Kind of like Rudy from Used Cars, right?
What?
You don't never
mind. Know what that's about. Thank you, Thomas Fecto. Great job of doing it. I appreciate that.
Someone will get it.
All right. So first of all, your start is your background. Your dad, Tony Jankowiak, championship modified racer who we lost way too soon.
Yep.
When you wanted to get into racing, what was your family's concern?
You know, my mom never really stopped me. We always talked about it, but she said she knew from a very young age, or knew from me being a young age, that I was going to be involved in it, and I just had a passion for it. And I always tell people I feel like I knew my dad a lot, my Uncle Tommy, obviously. Just I always go through all the old scrapbooks and all that. So I grew up immersed in the story of Tony J and Tommy Drewer, and all I ever wanted to do was keep the story going and not have it the way that it happened and in the way that it did. So. You know, it's and the whole family's still involved. You know, it's not just me. My mom goes to all the races. My cousin Matt, he beats me off pit road he's Patrick Emmerling's tire changer.
Okay.
So he kicks my butt off pit road half the time.
Perfect.
So you know, we're all still involved, and we all still love racing, and you know, so
Uncle Jake.
Uncle Jake, of course, Uncle
Jake. Multi-time mechanic of the year.
Yep.
Media. Could you imagine him in the
He
media?
goes to all of them. He was down in Allentown.
Yep.
He's flying back. It's probably a lot harder on him because he's got to get 30 years on me. So I'm a little bit younger than him.
Because he's old. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, he might be old.
So real quick for me, because I just met you tonight. You seem like a great guy. Any college?
I went to college for a year. Probably like a year and a half, and I got a ride in an SST modified, which is like an SK, and I just pretty much at that point just decided that, you know, college wasn't for me. I had to focus on my SST modified.
Were you pursuing like an engineering thing though, or?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so
I
it was
taking
kind of
engineering courses.
racing and
Yeah, and I always said I was going to go back. I think I'm like one credit short of an associate's.
Okay.
But I'll get there eventually.
so then my other question is probably been working on cars as long as you can remember, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I was always blessed, just being obviously very connected to racing with
Yep.
Michael Jake. He was always on race teams. I just grew up around it. So from a very early age, I was able to go to races with different drivers: Carl Hare, Ricky Clute, Tom McGrath. Went to race with these guys and sort of learned about the cars. And as I got older and wanted to get more into it, got into go-karts. My Uncle Bob worked with me on my first street stock, taught me a lot. And then my first car owner, the Sportsman, which is like an SK modified type car, he wanted me to be a very hands-on driver. He gave me the credit card when I needed it. And I always tell people this, but if he thought I could build it, the credit card went back into his pocket, and I went back into the shop. So, that was the time where I started building body panels and building Nerf bars and sort of fabricate.
So you're a welder?
Yep, not a good one, but I can weld.
Fabricator.
Obviously you feel safe with your welds. If
Yeah, I
you're welding
do.
stuff for yourself.
Yeah, I do.
So it
yeah.
can't be that bad.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to ask you this because I like to ask drivers this because you're what I call a roofer,
I was waiting for
Yep.
that.
and to me you can work on everything from the roof down.
Yep.
Now, do you feel like you have a better talent as a fabricator, a mechanic, or a chassis guy? What is everybody who works on race cars, everybody ends up with a specialty. I'll say you end up good at something. You're pretty good at everything, but you're always better at something. Which one are you the best at?
That's a good question. I've always said I think like work ethic in the shop has just been something that's always helped me because I'm always very in tune with my cars. And when I drive my own cars and I'm doing the setups on them and building the stuff
Right.
and I'm tinkering with them, I think I've gained an advantage over the years doing that. So I definitely think being in the shop definitely helps me. So it's kind of hard to say.
Think your setup stuff?
I mean, I think I
It
have
helps because you're driving it. You know what
right,
you need
and
to feel,
obviously
right?
I have a lot of good people around me that
Yeah.
help me with all these things. So I think it's a combination. If you look at our team, we won the Race of Champions this year in a chassis that we built ourselves.
Perfect.
And the indoor midget, with the help of Ricky Clute, we built that car too, and that car has been very, very successful. And I always love being hands-on. I love problem solving. I love thinking about how to try to go faster. And I love exploring, gray areas and trying to, get one up on guys. And, that part of the competition excites me. And that's part of the competition as much as the actual physical act of driving
Right.
is to me, Like, I love going
The
there
rule
with
book's
something.
just a suggestion.
Well, no, I mean, if you can
No, it is.
think a little bit ahead of somebody,
Right.
it's well within the rule book. But I love beating guys like that if you can. That's exciting too. So there's a lot of aspects to it that keep me invested, and that's all part of the fun.
Did you ever show up with something that you built, made, or designed, and they couldn't find it in the rule book, but they told you don't bring it back next week, or they made a rule about it?
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
oh yeah. I had a lot of funny modified noses back in the day with
See,
the
that's
RC
the kind of
modified
stuff I
tour.
want to hear. That's why
Yeah.
you're successful.
Yeah, we went to Oswego the one time, and they just looked at it and they said, "Don't bring it back." And I said, "Why?" And I had it in the rule book, and I
Yeah.
said, "Tell me where it says I can't do this." And they said, "Do not come back with this, or we're not going to let
So
you
you
on
got
the
a
track."
T-Rex. You got a
They-
T-Rex.
You know what the rule is? All these parts have to be approved by an official. That's the rule that you broke. I'm like, okay, well that makes no sense. That's part of why I love the indoor midgets, because it is a little bit more of a vague rule book, so you see guys doing different things. And I've always made the argument, like modified. Like, what is a modified? It's designed, you're modifying something.
Yeah.
So it's supposed
to be outside the
it
box,
started
right?
out with, you had stock cars, which was stock car, don't screw with it.
Right.
And then you had the modifieds, which was like modify your car and be
Yeah.
creative. And that's where the culture of the modifieds and the history all it
Absolutely.
lies. So to me, I hate seeing the same guys with cookie cutter race cars out there, and I think
We look back at the old modifieds and we say, really, that's a Pinto?
yeah.
Or that's a Gremlin? What are these people? It's got nothing to do with that. It's because it's modified.
Right.
Andy's known as a tinkerer. Like you're never satisfied. You're
Nope.
always working on something. You work on your car right up until the time you get to this track.
Absolutely.
And there's many times where, as a promoter, Andy would show up just minutes to spare, and then want a special practice lap. Once, maybe 2, 3, then like, what's up? Because they would give me advantage. You know how it goes. But I give you credit because you're always pushing that. I won't say you're pushing it, but you're always looking for that extra edge. That extra edge you're getting into it.
And a lot of those days too, we were just racing somewhere the night before or something.
Oh, I get it.
I remember the one time we were. What do I get to?
Speak up just a little bit.
So I remember the one time we went to Lancaster and we won the SummerSlam. Probably a year you were promoting.
Yep.
And they wanted to check cranks that night. So we had to pull the pan off the car, and they're really hard to put back together. And we had a day race the next day at Chemung.
Which is 3 hours away.
Yeah, so we were driving there, and we were on the phone with the promoter, and we had already missed the heat race. And, we were going to miss, like everything. And we were on the phone, and we actually got them to change the order around so that we could go out there and, try to... And we unloaded this thing, and the Zach Rice is like, it's just stupid. Why are we changing the order?
Right.
We're fine.
We're fine.
We went out there and ran well, and it was fine. So, probably part of that's some of the challenge, too.
Your first race you ever drove was a street stock or was it enduro? Which one was it?
The first race I ever drove was the 2003 Hangover 100.
And you
Won.
How old were you?
First race.
15?
Nice.
So the Hangover 100 was at Ransomville
You were the
Speedway.
only sober one there because you were 15.
That's how I won. I was serious.
Everybody else is
I was
hungover.
serious. I was trying to find the right studded tires. I was there to this is it. This is my shot. And the guy next to me is in a Santa Claus outfit with a bottle of Jack Daniels. And I'm just like,
You got 15s on the outside of your tire, 14s on the inside.
So I had 3 tires left at the end of that race. They ripped my right rear out. The Hangover 100 was barely a race.
So it was run on New Year's Day, and it was at Ransomville Speedway, dirt track, snow all over, and there was hundreds of cars showed up. Pieces of, we'll just say it, POSs, but this one showed up serious and ready to.
Good thing a breathalyzer didn't show up.
No, you never should. No, you didn't do that.
no, I was game face.
Yeah, you were game
Well, you were. You're
Yeah.
15.
But you talk about an omen, he wins his very first race.
Right.
Okay, and everyone's like, "Whoa, okay, was it a fluke?" And then you started racing street stocks after that,
Yep.
and you started winning in that.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched you win in everything you got. You've won on everything you drove, except the dirt cars. And you said you go dirt sportsman for a while.
Yep, and we race dirt modified a little bit for Ricky Hochter, but in fairness, I don't think I've invested myself enough into the dirt stuff. It's a plan. There is a stage in my life where I plan on being a dirt modified driver because it's just so awesome in New York State. If you look around, but right now it's modifieds and ARCA.
So
that's just enough.
you're in Buffalo, right?
Yep.
You live in Buffalo?
Yeah.
So you need to get a 74 Impala wagon and drive around in the snow as fast as you can, and you'll be a great dirt
Oh, I can slide. There's a clip actually. If you watch the one, the Gamblers Classic, the first lap, I jumped someone's tire, right? And I'm up in the air.
This is the indoor race.
This is the indoor race, and if you get off the track, you get in the slick, and I'm sliding right to the wall, right? And right before I'm about to hit the wall, the car just stops and turns, and I drive away. And Anthony Cecily comes up to me. He's like, "I watched that video. How did you not crash?" I'm like, "I deliver pizzas. I know. You ride the brake in the snow as long as possible.
Yeah.
If you don't get off the brake, you're gonna hit the car. You gotta get off the brake.
Yeah.
As soon as you get much bigger you can, you keep that wheel cut and you turn." And I did. I got back in the race.
So you had some great backers along the way in your career, getting into the modifieds and that. And I'm going to say something. You've given me fits. There was times where you'd show up late. There was one time, the one U.S. Open was a 3-day race. Andy decided on Friday night he was going to park his truck and trailer wherever the hell he wanted in the driveway.
Yeah.
We're calling you the next day. We're calling. We're calling everybody. Find them. Find them. Tow it. We can't tow it because the truck's connected to the trailer. I'm like, I am so mad. Tow it. And finally I see him. He goes, "Sorry," and walks away. That's it? You had this whole operation tied up. I just went, ugh. And then, you go out and you put on a good show. You have a great fan fun. And the one time we had a practice session, a paid practice session at Lancaster. And I said, "Hey, we're closing at 9. I'm turning off closing the gates." Okay. No, he's still back there, him, whoever. About 9:30, I get a phone call. "Tim, yeah, I'm locked on the track." I go, "I know." And you locked the track. He goes, "What am I going to do?" I said, "Well, I guess I'm going to have to come back and get you." And I came back, and you're standing there, little kid, sorry. And you're good. I'm sorry. But it's you get mad at you, but it's not because you did it on purpose, just because you're so into what you do. And then I watch you go out there, and I would watch you just methodically work your way through fields, overcome spins, pit strategies, and it's such a joy to watch you race. And
Tim
it's
probably
really
inverted you way more than you ever wanted to be inverted.
No, I never did that.
Were you inversion guy?
No, I don't. No, that wasn't me. I wasn't the race director. No, I was just the guy who got mad when people did stuff that took away from what we were trying to do. But what I'm saying is, it's always a joy to watch you and your growth. And you just won. What was it like winning the RLC modified race at Lake Erie this year, the big Elgar Trophy?
It was just so surreal, and that's just a race that I always dreamed about winning. And it's funny. Like I always, Coach Valvano. I always liked watching that documentary. He always kept little notes in his pocket. Yep. And for years, whenever I would make a little list of something, I always just for fun, I read the bottom win the Gamblers Classic. I'd always leave this on the bottom of little notes here, and then I'd find it I'd be going through my notes for something else. Yeah. And I'd oh yeah, that's right. I got to win the Gamblers Classic. Just remind me, keep it in my head, and kind of make you obsess about it a little bit. And when we were lucky enough to win the Gamblers Classic, the next day I'm okay, so what do I put in my little notebook? And it was win the Race of Champions.
Right.
So that was one that was certainly on my list, and it was sort of a crazy day just because we ended up making a mistake on one of the pit stops. We're really good at going down a lap in the pits just for some reason. It was sort of our thing last year, but we always overcome it. So, and we overcame it, and it actually helped out because it changed our pit strategy to a better pit strategy, and I think it's why we won the race. So it sort of worked out, but it was a lot of range of emotions because we were a lap down in that race with 100 laps to go. So with
you ended up with the precious tires.
Yeah, because you can only put on one tire per pit stop.
Oh,
so
okay.
By the time we got on the lead lap, I didn't know if we were going to get enough cautions.
Just keep putting the right rear on, right?
No, we went all the way around. And I stuck to my plan. We went all the way around and ended with the right rear, so that was the best tire. And we just went straight to the front. And I don't think any of those, I think they all forgot about us by that point just because we'd been out of the race for so long. So I think we snuck up on them a little bit there. But, it was such a range of emotions. And then Matt Hirschman was kind enough to come through the car and greet us after.
Matt did, really?
He did. He walked around.
Matt,
yeah. No, great family, great guy. So it was just a perfect day. Couldn't have gone any better.
And another one you won is the Tommy Tony, the one named after your dad and your uncle who passed away at the track in a racing accident as well, Tommy Drewer. And you won that one, and I remember your emotions for that were that's one that was on your bucket list as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Both of them. We won it in 2018, and we won it again this year. And the first one was just surreal, just being a Lancaster and just being there with the family, and it was a great race with Patrick Emmerling. And then this last year was sort of like a twofer because it was our first time back in Holland.
Right.
Now, Holland Speedway is our me and Tim talked about Lancaster Speedway. That's our home. Holland Speedway is my second home. Won track championships over there, and the track had been closed for 3 years, and this was the reopening weekend when they had the Tommy Tony weekend. So it was sort of just so surreal just to be there and win that race, and then being back in Holland on top of it. So that was a very special weekend that everyone at the Race of Champions was able to put together. So just grateful for everything that's gone on this year, and grateful to be part of a series like that and everything that we get to do.
So you could be satisfied just being the local hero. You could be satisfied I won all over New York State and this and that. Out of the blue, all of a sudden you announce, "Hey everybody, I bought an ARCA car." And we're all like, "What the?" And what? Because no, seriously, what? Okay, how did that come? Because the story is you mortgaged and you cashed in everything you had.
Yep.
Everything. We're talking bonds. And you tell the story. It's your story.
Well, basically, I always wanted to race Daytona. I made a list of 6 things I wanted to do before I would stop racing, and the Gamblers Classic was on it. We won that one, and there was 2 left on the list, and it was run a competitive lap at Daytona and win the Spring Sizzler. So when COVID hit, I had just got done winning the Gamblers, and we won some races earlier in the year, so I was sort of ahead on money from where I usually am with my finances, and I was working a lot, and actually, the pizza business was pretty crazy back
during
then.
During COVID.
We were making 4 times as much as we normally would.
Absolutely.
So, and I looked at it and said, well, I have a year off to just go make all my money back.
Yeah.
I took everything I had, and I counted up, it was like grandma's savings bonds, it was every single thing I had, and I asked Andy Seiss how to do it, and Andy Seiss suggested calling Kenny Schrader, which I had formed a friendship with him through...
Not winning his award?
Not winning is a win. Yeah.
You know what? That's a good deal right there because he wasn't gonna screw you either.
No,
Kenny ain't gonna shy you.
He knows
he's gonna get you down the right road. You know what I mean?
Perfectly honest, I didn't think it was going to happen. It was sort of like, I think in my head, because I had this dream that I always wanted to race on that level and be on that stage at some
least
point.
give it a shot.
Right? I think honestly, when it started out in my head, I think I was just saying to myself, you know what, when I'm 80 years old, I want to say that I tried.
At least you did it.
So but I want to say I tried. I didn't think I was going to be able to make this work. So I just want to say, you know what, I really tried and it just didn't work out. I didn't want to feel like I was scared to try.
Yeah.
So I sort of called Kenny Schrader expecting to get, and actually the next phone call I made was Carl Fredrickson because he was the only other human being in the world that would not tell me not to do this. And I didn't tell one other person just because it was so like silly.
Silly but not really.
Well, no, I mean because most people, we have the ability to look at this through hindsight, and it ended up being the greatest decision I ever made. At the time, if you really look at this, it's like, okay, you're 32 years old, like maybe it's time to give up. I don't know. I mean, most people would look at that and say, maybe it's like you're a little too old. You should have done this 20 years ago.
At the end of your rainbow, not
You're just starting. You were just starting.
I am just starting. I know that, but I didn't want anyone to try to talk me out of it, so I just didn't tell anyone about it.
Move you made. Because if you tell people about it, they'll talk you out of it.
Right. I know. I tried to talk myself out of it. I mean,
You didn't tell your mom?
No.
You didn't tell anybody?
Not until the day I was leaving.
Wow.
I didn't tell
So
Jay.
you bought
I
the
didn't tell
car,
anybody. I really didn't. I
and
just
you brought it back, and now you have a.
Well, actually, no.
record
We had it down there, and then it was
down there was.
and actually stayed at Schrader Shop. That was part of the deal. So I called Kenny on the phone, which is surreal. Just called.
And he had an ARCA car. Would you buy a car?
He had an ARCA car for sale.
Okay.
I knew kind of what I was playing with money wise, and I thought I was pretty short of what it was going to be worth because I kind of knew what that stuff went for, and. I asked Kenny how much, and his number was lower than I thought it was going to be.
You could even made
but it wasn't what I had. Still didn't have enough, and we sort of went back and forth. And I flat out said, like, "Look at Kenny, like I have this much.
This is what I got.
This is it."
Yeah.
And
he took it.
He actually, I said, like, I explained, like, look at Kenny, like this is what I got. This is everything. This is.
Literally everything.
Literally everything. This is zero.
You know the depreciation on race cars.
Yeah, I know. I do. I can depreciate real quick. I'm not one of those. I knew that right away.
You know what I'm saying.
So you got the car.
Well, actually, I got to this point. So I told Kenny what I had, and I said, like, I know you're at this number. This is everything. This is all I can give you. And he actually said, I don't want to leave you like that. He went 5,000 less than the number I said.
Okay.
What a good guy.
That's Schrader.
Yeah.
That's Schrader.
Racers.
Did you have to buy him a case of beer or anything? Usually he wants a case of Budweiser.
All right, so you get the car back, and then you put out that you have the car. Now you have to find everything you can to now go to Daytona.
So wait a minute. First of all, is it a roller?
A complete car. So the deal I had with Kenny was like, look, I explained to him, like, I don't know anything about an ARCA car. I don't have anything for an ARCA car. Like, I don't know how. I don't know anything about this. So like,
you told him you wanted to go to Daytona, though.
I told him I wanted to go to Daytona. I told him what my plan. My plan was to go to Daytona and sell the car. I'm like, I need you. Part of this deal is like, I would need you to like help me find someone to work on the car. And he said he would pay his crew chief for the weekend to go with me to the car. So we had Donnie. We worked with Donnie Richardson, and actually he's come to a couple more races since we've had a really good friendship. So
I know Donnie a little bit.
Yep.
So
from Alan Coy.
You do this, and like, okay, he's going to Daytona and he's going to practice.
Yep.
Well, let's see what happens. Like, how's he going to do? And you ended up like putting it on the top of the chart.
That was during the race weekend.
Okay, race weekend.
Race weekend practice.
Right.
The test session we were a little off. And
but it's a speedway car. It's for Daytona. The whole intention of this is, what my point is, this wasn't a Martinsville car that you're going to Martinsville with. There's different cars. Well, the ARCA is not quite like us, but the chassis and suspension is a speedway.
Yeah.
It's for Daytona, and it wasn't a short track car. It was a super speedway car.
Built by Donnie Richardson. It was a former Jeff Gordon COT car.
Right, there you go. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it was a good car. So we went to the test. We were a little bit off.
Tell me about your first lap at Daytona.
TJ Majors called me the day before and gave me some tips. He's my spotter. He's from Buffalo.
Nice.
That was one of the deals that we were able to work out, and that was that. If you see me running top 10, it's because like TJ Majors. I swear to God, he's driving the car. It's unbelievable, like working with him. But he told me, he gave me some pointers. He said, all right, you're going to go into turn one. Like, you're not going to be able to hold it wide open. Just no one holds it wide open your first lap in turn one. And I went down to turn one, and I saw it looked like I was going to, like, drive into a wall. And I kept my foot down. Like, that was it. That was my win for the day. It was sort of, I kept it wide open the first lap, so I was proud of myself. But it was sort of hard to process because I was so nervous about, like, you know, I'm like, okay, don't make a mistake. Like, don't like, you know, getting on and off pit road, going through the gears. Just don't make a mistake. Don't do something stupid. Don't wreck the car.
Don't look dumb.
Because I mean, to cross this off the lifelong list, I had to make it one complete lap at Daytona in the race. Sure. So I had to take the green, and I had to at least make it around once. Otherwise, I couldn't cross it off the list. So I couldn't wreck the car at the test. So that was like in my head. But the first day was sort of it was hard to process. The second day, I sort of woke up. I relaxed a little bit, and I took it in a little bit more the second day.
I had a question for you. Is it a lot narrower in a race car than it is on TV?
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's weird.
People don't get it.
Yeah, it really.
And I've only been around there in a van, like leaving. I'm like, holy
absolutely
shit,
is. I can't believe they go through wire there. The one that really shocked me was Charlotte. When you go into
how narrow it is?
Yeah, it's weird. You don't think so.
It doesn't look like that on TV.
No, because the way the camera is angled, it's looking down at the bank.
You go to practice, you go down, now it's ARCA race time, you go down and you make the race, you qualified 13th, was it?
11th, I think.
11th, close.
Yep.
There was a moment where I was sitting there because I was down helping Rich Bickle, and I looked over in the garage and there's you and Rick Hochter and Jake, and I'm like, here's 4 or 5 yo-yos from Lancaster, New York, out of Buffalo, and we're in Daytona, and we're all racing together. And it was a really cool moment. Like, we've won 500s, and those are nice. To look over and see you guys knowing that you were in that race, I was thrilled. And I caught you in the car before, and I said, have fun. And you're like, thanks. And I walked away going, that was Andy J from, the Spike, and we're at Daytona. It was kind of a cool moment.
It was like a made it moment.
No, it was like a cool moment because you watched this
guy. Made it moment.
Yeah, but it was neat as a personally because, go. And then you did really good in the race, and you top 10. And you went out and you ran more.
You got a lot of TV coverage about that.
Huge TV coverage. Yeah. Even like every race he did, he got huge.
I had it on. I was watching it.
All right. That was my buddy Carl Fredrickson.
Yep. All right, so it's 8:30. We're gonna start taking some questions.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, Tony Magoo, remember him?
Tony Magoo,
the announcer at Lancaster I work with.
Buffalo guy.
I don't know. I probably know his face.
Okay, he was the announcer. He says, "Happy New Year, boys."
Okay. Happy New Year.
Hey, Steph, get your own chat room with the family. Okay, that's my aunt.
What are they chatting on here?
Skip Reed, about time you have Andy J on. Thanks, Skip.
Well, he decided to drive down from all the way from Buffalo and come on.
Thomas is on. Thomas to Hunt. Hey, make sure your mom. She was going to set an alarm to make sure she saw Thomas to Hunt.
Where's all of this?
All these people are up there. Colleen's there.
Set an alarm.
All right.
Feed the cows.
We're taking your questions and comments there.
We're going to have to shovel them out.
Yeah. So you've gone through what you did last year. Did the ARCA racing become more comfortable for you?
Yeah, I definitely got more comfortable with it, and I've been able to get more involved too. I know a little bit more about the setups, and I've been working with my crew chief Mike Dayton and Andy Seiss, and I bring more knowledge. So I think when I first got into this, I was just a little timid.
Sure.
It all seems so much bigger than you realize. You watch this stuff on TV your whole life, and then the more I got into it, the more it becomes just a race car. Like we're doing bump steer and toe out. It's just like everything else, like tighten the nuts and bolts up and just try to do all the little stuff. And I think that aspect of it, away from the racetrack, I think I've definitely got more comfortable. I think that's helped on the racetrack.
Hey, Jeff Haas, how you doing? He says, hey, guys. Jody Bernhardt says, very cool. When I worked for Jerry Marquis, we used to say, crap, the jet showed up. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I was talking about your dad.
The rocket.
The rocket. I was going to say nothing. The rocket. Come on, Jody. Get your stuff right there.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I just thought of this while we're sitting there.
Buffalonians.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys are?
Buffalonians, yes.
Buffalonians, yep.
When you're delivering pizzas, and I just thought of this, do you ever have a moment like these people, you're going up to their door, do they know that there's this race car driver that was just on TV?
Does anybody recognize
on TV a week ago, that it was on TV a week ago, and like now we just delivering the pizza? And did you ever think about handing them like a little thing, like your pizza was delivered by? Please follow my racing. I don't know.
I kind of like my job just because it does sort of keep me humble. I go there and I'm just Andy the pizza guy.
Is it? I know. I got. Is it a Domino's or is it like a
No,
good
no,
pizza
it's a
place?
Buffalo, New York.
Give them a
base.
name. Let's give them a
Good
plug.
pizza
Give
place.
them a plug.
Yep, Bob and John's La Hacienda.
Yep.
Buffalo, New
yeah,
York,
with a
Buffalo.
name like that.
Yeah, no, I mean they're all about it. They want,
Yeah.
and actually we got to work on it, but we're going to put up some pictures in the front lobby
Sure,
just so
they
they know
should.
because it has gotten some attention. So it's funny actually. One of the guys that works there, he's actually retired last year. He was a tire changer on pit road for NASCAR for like
Right,
20 years.
right.
So whenever it gets cold, he always wears all these jackets. So like Thor Sport, he worked
Uh-huh,
at, he worked for
okay.
Tommy Baldwin,
Right.
and it's funny. So I just go there with my hoodie on, and I
Right,
just go
right.
like when I'm there, I'm just there to work. But he actually gets questions like, "Are you the race car driver?" So he's actually the one that's getting the
Because he's got
questions.
them. What's his name?
Dave Christiani.
Maybe
He was a tire too.
Might
He
know.
was an interior guy.
I might know him if I see him.
Okay.
Yeah, good guy. But no, I just go to work. It keeps me humble just because it's just, I just go there. I'm just
Right.
a pizza guy, and it's just, I'm struggling in the snow with all the other guys, and it's just, camaraderie, and we go have a beer after our shift, and it's just nice to be
I'm
home.
just thinking,
Right.
like, when you get done, like, you go to Daytona, you're top 10, you're on TV, and then, like, the next week, on Wednesday night, some guy's getting a pizza, and he's like, hey, thanks a lot. And it's like,
Yep.
do you think he knows that, it's just a curiosity question. If I was you, I'd have a little flyer, like, stuck in there, hey, your pizza was delivered by...
You know,
It's almost just nice just to go there and just
Really?
be a pizza guy.
Okay.
I don't like to. I don't
Right.
need. I don't need to toot my own horn, and I just go there and I'm just
Right.
Andy the pizza guy. It's just.
I would give anything to order one of them pizzas. Just because we can't get them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, down here we're like...
Probably the wing. Give me one of them pizzas and
Oh,
some
yeah.
wings. It's probably
Buffalo
awesome.
does that right.
Yeah,
we got our pizza and wing
Yeah.
game down.
If you
for
want
sure.
some barbecue, you're good to go down.
Oh
there.
yeah,
Not
we beat them. We do it right.
Okay, this is time for any questions or comments towards Andy. We're glad he's here to share them with you. So what's your expectations? What are your plans for this year?
We're gonna wait and see. We're still searching for some sponsorship for later on in the year. We are
For
gonna
the ARCA car?
For the ARCA car. Yep, we're gonna do as many races as
Tell
sponsorship
the
allows.
people how to get in touch with you.
You get in touch with us on social media. All of our handles are Andy J Racing. My stepson Billy runs the Twitter,
Right.
and then I do the Facebook stuff. And any way you want to get a hold of us, my email's on there. So we encourage people to jump on board. We're going to have Mike Sells Golf Carts is going to be our primary sponsor for Daytona.
Good,
We're
good,
also going to
congrats.
have Automotive Ithaca, Florida Safety Systems.
Good.
Just to name a few. Planter Box Direct is coming back.
Pile them on there.
Piling them on.
Here, can you put these on?
We're gonna put them on.
$5,000, he says.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't got that kind of cash.
Well, if we could get a
If we
sponsor
did,
too.
we'd give it to you.
Yeah, so we're working on.
If we did, we'd give it to you. Hey, what? Sorry.
No, I mean, if we had 10, we'd
I'm
give
just
it
kidding.
five.
That's fine.
But yeah, we got Yukon Creek and Yukon Creek Sportsman Club out of Buffalo. So we got Mike Sells Golf Carts for Daytona, so we're looking pretty good for there. Going down the road, our plan is to go to Talladega, Dover, Charlotte.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's all going to be sponsor
No, I
dependent.
get
We
it.
are
That's
looking
good.
for sponsors and primary sponsors, and we're going to be looking for people to work with. And so if anyone's interested, be sure to get a hold of me for some races down the road here.
Are
And,
you a Ford, a Chevrolet, or a Toyota?
I will, whatever is, for
Oh,
sale.
you don't
that
even
week.
know what you're going to be at
Yeah.
yet?
No,
No.
if a car's a good deal and that's the car we need, and it's
Right.
a
Oh, you don't have a car yet?
no, we got cars. We got
But you'll change
bought
it.
we got
some new
two
cars.
Fords and a Chevy.
Okay.
And
So you're
my
not-
Just
sponsor,
wondering,
Yeah.
yeah, and my sponsor
Talk
Dax
to you about it
Markets.
afterwards.
My main sponsor, Dax Markets, for the year.
Good.
He's actually working and trying to build up the program. He actually just added 2 cars to our arsenal. They're 2
Really?
Toyotas.
Jeez.
So now we have everything, and it's kind of funny. I kind of love it actually. Actually, so it's funny. So we were going to Charlotte with we bought that one car. And it was a Ford, and I had a spare tail, but it was a Chevy. So I actually called ARCA and asked if I could put the Chevy tail on the Ford, and they were having none of that. So
I was gonna say.
like, I mean, for Chevy, like, I don't know, like,
Tina
You got to
says-
tell them, I got a Ford dealership that wants the front, and I got a Chevy guy that wants the
Perfect.
back.
Yeah,
Whatever
whatever works.
That's all right, man.
Yeah.
That's all right. Tina's here. She says hi.
Hi, Tina.
She gave the name of the restaurant. Your son's here
Bobby John's
too.
Hacienda.
Yep, your son's here too. He's
Got the Adam
behaving.
sitting right here.
He's on his 8th beer. We're watching.
No,
Don't worry about it, Tina.
Yeah, he can drive. It's fine.
That's fine. Retired Marine.
Yep.
It's good. Thanks for your service.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
being
your
in the house.
service, young man.
Yeah. God bless. So you have all those races planned. What about the short track? When do you squeeze in the short track?
So obviously, well, we're doing the whole indoor schedule. Can't wait to get back to that. That's my favorite. I'm probably thinking as much about Atlantic City as I am Daytona right now. Believe it or not, I'm not kidding. I love the indoor stuff. That's our joke around the shop. Is like, now that we're into this ARCA stuff, is we hope that Atlantic City and Daytona never end up on the same weekend because it would just suck to miss Daytona. I don't know if I'm kidding.
I like it though. I like it. Yeah.
No, so we love being a part of the indoor auto racing series, and then obviously come April, May.
You make more in the indoor too, and then ARCA.
Yeah, probably. Actually, yeah, probably. Yeah, it's like $5-6 to win some of them.
Wow,
but
very good.
So, and then come April, May, we should have a pretty good window to do a lot of the ROC modified stuff. And obviously, we love being home and being part of that. And, racing at tracks a little bit closer to home. It's a lot less stress on the guys. And they sort of need days like that because they run out of vacation days. All my guys work.
Right.
So,
nobody's paid.
Nope. No,
That was because we were talking. Yeah, I was just going to ask. You got all volunteers.
Crew chief spotter, but they really work with me. I mean, it's not like
and it's part time or full time.
Everything's part time,
Right?
And then all my other guys are volunteers. But there
Do
should
you
be pretty
work for
good
beer and food, or what do you pay? What do you?
I don't think I buy that much beer. I think they usually buy the beer.
They buy their own?
I would not pay Uncle Jake in beer.
No.
That would be.
No, I get
Would
mad
you
when he
lose
drinks.
money?
No, because like if he starts drinking, then he doesn't work on the car too well the next day.
He has another story. Oh yeah, I remember this time.
Oh my god. Atlantic City, Saturday night in Atlantic City, we catch up on our drinking. So
After the race.
that one's a little bit too far away to make it
Right.
home for work the next
Sure.
day, so we kind of just say piss on it, and then we just stay there and drink all night.
Perfect.
So the last time we won the Gamblers Classic,
Yep.
we were out drinking. The Atlantic City bars will never close.
Right.
And we're drinking out of I got this cup. This thing's like 45 pounds, and I bring it everywhere.
The trophy.
The trophy, yeah. So we're drinking out of it. So I come home back to the hotel. The sun's up, and I look, and they'd started breakfast. So I just went right to breakfast. So this is great.
Perfect. That's good. But that's the joy of short track racing. There's the camaraderie, the fun, the whole essence of just having that fun. I mean, Lancaster, I used to get pictures at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. Guys were still in the pits.
Yeah.
So
that was me.
I'm like, click. I'm like, well, what's this? He goes, we're still here. I go, oh my gosh, you kidding
that was
me?
me and my mom.
Yeah, that's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. I did turn the lights off because I don't want to pay the bill for you guys to hang out. So you have this races. You have the races. You have the season coming up.
Yep.
How do you keep up with it all? I mean, seriously, there's a lot to organize and keep up with.
Yeah, last year got pretty stressful. I swore I was going to do a little bit differently this year. So
How's that working for you?
I think we're in better shape so far this year. I've been a little bit more relaxed, but there was a lot of. We really wore the guys out there last year. Just we basically built 2 cars in the middle of the season with the ARCA stuff because we never expected to go past Daytona.
Right.
And then when we got all that awesome TV time, the flood doors kind of opened up with sponsorship opportunities, and we all kind of looked at it like, well, when are we ever going to get to do this again?
Do it again.
Right.
Keep
So
going.
we went
Keep doing it.
We got another car from our Motorsports. We got a really great deal on it, and then Ted Marsh jumped in, said, "I think this is great what you guys
Nice.
are doing. Here's
Good.
another car to go
Great guy.
go do some road course racing with."
Amazing.
And we were able to do it all, and it just sort of worked out that we had so many people chipping in like that and helping us, and that it was just feasible, and we had some sponsors that were getting behind it, and we couldn't stop. So it was a lot of work. Getting all those races, and the wreck at Bristol coming in September in the middle of all those races. I mean, getting to Kansas was really tough. I was just about ready for it all to be over with at Kansas. And actually, the week before that, I didn't really publicize it much, but actually, I broke my wrist at Thompson the week before Kansas. So we actually I scheduled a surgery and did Kansas with a cast. So as soon as Kansas was over, I was one-handed. I'm like, I am taking 2 months off, and we're just going to catch up on stuff. And
good.
So far, it's been working out really good. The indoor car went pretty smooth last week, and we're pretty well set to go to Daytona here next week. And modified engine's off, getting a rebuild over at Performance Tech, and we're just getting ready to go again.
Your mom says hi. Your mom
Mom.
dinner. William Card. Andy is a great spokesman for my company, Automotive Consultants.
He's one of our primary sponsors on everything that we do. Automotive Consultants.
Where's he
Ithaca.
at?
He's out of Ithaca. If you need to buy a car, a used car, go to Ithaca. Go to Automotive Consultants.
Automotive
Buy him from Bill
Consultants.
Card. He's a great guy.
Say it again. Automotive
Consultants of Ithaca. Buy a car from Bill Card. He's a good guy. Do it.
Tim Bernhardt says, good luck at Atlantic City.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be there.
He'll be there, yeah. No, you talk about a guy drinking at races. Tim, yeah.
Yeah, there's beers to go around in Atlantic
Exactly.
City. That's the party weekend. That's just the best weekend.
I've never been to that one.
You gotta go.
No, I've been to Atlantic City. I've done that one. I took Johnny Benson up there on an appearance.
Oh, yeah.
But that would be a good one to go to. You have such an incredible fan following.
Yep.
Like, I don't mean, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it. For a short track local racer,
Yep.
before you started going TV racing,
Yep.
your following has been incredible. Do you think part of it comes from your dad?
Yep.
Fans? Like,
I think so.
I'm going to make the comparison because I think it's just. So the guy behind you
Yeah.
had a son,
Yeah.
Dale Jr. We lost him. Fans went. Fans that missed your dad, you showed up. They wanted to be your fan. But you've gotten new fans as well.
Yeah, and obviously, I think when you think about the Earnhardts, Junior was racing when his dad passed away, and obviously with my dad, we're 20 years apart when we started racing. So, yeah, I think that's a huge aspect of it. I think I inherited a lot of my dad's following and my Uncle Tommy's following. And
Even though it was how much later?
let's see, I probably really started racing probably a good 18 years after.
So,
Dad
but we
passed.
all know going to short tracks, there's people that go to short tracks for 40 years.
Yeah.
And when they hear
It's a
that,
huge part of it.
When they hear that name again, then it's
That's a huge
boom.
part of it, and
Yeah.
that's a huge part of it, obviously, and
And that's cool.
and I love that. That was always my goal when I was
Absolutely.
little. Is I wanted to keep our story going.
Absolutely,
and that's
man.
when I look at like my dad and my Uncle Tommy
Sure.
and all the fun they had, the stories that I was told growing up, and my whole thing was that I wanted to keep that story going and be part of that story. And I think I modeled myself after them. I think my personality is based off of them, and I think I talked to my mom about it, and everyone always says like. They remind me. I remind them so much of my dad, or there's a lot of things I do that are like my uncle, and she always says like, well, this proves that. People will always say that this proves that it's inherited, and it's like no, because like I grew up with the scrapbooks, I grew up with the stories, like I knew who they were because I heard that story so many times, and
It was still a learned behavior.
oh yeah,
You were going to be a race car driver.
I think so. She
Right,
said
so-
my mom said I was into it pretty young.
Andy Hicks, or Kevin Hicks says Andy Patrick battle, Andy versus Patrick Emmerling. Battle at Tony Memorial Race a few years ago, Lancaster.
That was a good one.
Was a good one and clean.
Patrick
So,
let me off the hook once. He probably could have stuffed it once and
Right,
won.
so
I've seen his bumper.
Patrick Emmerling, out of the West New York area, won a modified race at Bristol. He has now formed a Xfinity team with
I talked to
Joey
Patrick a
Gase. Yep. So it's kind of like it's how this ebbing of the Western New York area is now coming into the NASCAR. So Howard Bond, it's great to see you guys. JC Stout, how about an Xfinity ride at Richmond?
There you go.
There you go. Another guy get into it.
Buffalo's going NASCAR lately. It's crazy.
It's kind of weird how it's all ebbing out of there, and I like it. Here we got some fans. Andy's a great spokesman. Hang on, I got that. Oh, Jackie Tukey Brown says, "Yeah, we're the best fans. Go, Andy."
It's Adam's wife.
All right, well that explains that.
You can have another beer if you want. He's only got 8.
I don't know who Bookie Pixley is, but it says hi, Andy. It must be a fake name. Anyhow, so your expectations this year, you being more comfortable with everything you've done in the ARCA.
Yep.
Going back this year, do you think you're, I hate to use the word smarter, but a little more knowledgeable or a little like
There's not a doubt in my mind that doing this ARCA stuff
How
has
about
made me a
more
much...
confident? That's it. Thank you. Come on. Cheers.
Doing the ARCA stuff made me a better race car driver. There's no
Absolutely,
doubt in my
sure.
mind. And I think, because I've been trying to think about it, because ever since we've come back from that, we've just been calm, cool, and collected. And I went to these indoor races, and I'm always nervous before a race, but I don't feel as nervous. And I think a lot of it is just, when you stare down Charlotte Motor Speedway and like if I crash, like this whole dream's over.
Right.
And you got to race a certain way and still at the same time
You gotta
run
tiptoe.
well enough.
You got to tiptoe and
You got to
race.
tiptoe, but you got to race well enough
Yeah.
to say,
So you don't look like,
we went to Kansas, you ran 13th. That was like, there was no buzz about that. I mean, you got to be in the top 10 if you want to keep the story going. So,
Oh, 13th? Whatever. Top 10? Yeah, let's talk.
yeah, top 10. I mean, that's it.
Top 10, and I'm not allowed to tear my fenders off the thing.
Right, so there's so much pressure with that, and I think it sort of has made everything else feel a little bit more doable, and and maybe just, climbing that mountain has just made everything else feel just a little bit more possible, and right now, I mean, I'm so blessed to have everything that I have going for me, and a lot of it's people, and a lot of it's good fortune, and it's hard to put it into words sometimes, but it definitely all works together as one thing. And right now, we got the world at our fingertips, and we're just loving life right now.
Question. I'm just going to use a name.
Yep.
Richard Childress goes, "Hey, I want to talk to you."
Yep.
You go talk to him?
Of course.
Okay.
Why would you?
Puts a deal together for you? Well, because I'm asking because you have so many cars, you have everything you've built, everything you own, everything that's been working with you. If the call comes,
I'm in. 100%, 150%.
I'm asking because I want people.
My dream has always been to race in NASCAR. That's why I could never let it go. That's where this whole ARCA thing has come from. And I know what my window is.
Right.
And I know that I'm 33, and I got a lot. I'm in best shape of my life.
Right.
I ran my first marathon a couple years ago. Like, I can race forever, but I know that the NASCAR window is smaller and smaller and smaller, and I know that everything I do, modifieds, midgets, everything, that's always going to be there, and I can do that till I'm probably 100 years old. The NASCAR window it gets smaller and smaller by the year. So that's what the focus is right now, and that's why we went all in right now.
Well, what I'm saying is that if it happens, that's good. Speaking of running things, I just remember this funny story. So every year there's a St. Patrick's Day parade in Buffalo. So I'm down there one time and I'm watching, and my parade's going by. Everyone's doing what they do.
You were running in it?
No,
I was.
Hang on. So all of a sudden, we're like sitting there with some friends of mine from Akron, and all of a sudden I look up and this guy goes, "Look at this idiot!" And there's this guy with this big tie and the hat, and he's not collecting money, and he's walking along going like this. I look up and I go, "That's Andy J." He goes, "Who's that?" I go, "He's a local racer." He goes, "You know him?" I say, "I go, Andy, look over you." You look at me like, "Hey," and you walk out. And like, you're the type to just kind of slide into a parade, and you enjoy life.
Yeah.
You enjoy life.
I try to keep everything in perspective. Like I say, like when you asked about the pizza thing, how I like to go home and I'm just Andy the pizza guy.
Right.
I love just getting away from it, just being Andy the pizza guy. So, like, growing up, I have a certain group of friends. My best friend Marlena, she's probably watching, and we always I always had made time just to go be a kid because I knew that I needed to be a kid too. So I would get away from racing and we go out, we have fun. I had the best group of friends in high school. We go to all these parties, but one thing we always did is we go to St. Patrick's Day Parade, and we got this thing called the Dingus Day Parade. So
Polish people in Buffalo.
yeah, Polish. It's a Polish thing. We got the Irish thing and the Polish thing, which my mom's Irish and my dad's Polish, so I'm allowed to both.
You're obliged to go.
Yeah, I'm obliged to go. So we always went and participated. And Buffalo's serious about these. Like, we are a drinking town. Our bars stay up until 4. Like, we drink. So I'd always go to these parades, and as I got older and racing got more serious, I always took 2 days aside every year, no matter what was happening. Like, we go to St. Patrick's Day Parade, and we go to the Dingus Day Parade.
Yep.
And because I don't really drink anymore, I'm having a beer, but I don't really drink anymore. Like, the day before, I have 3 practice beers just to get my tolerance up. I get a little sick. And then, like, the next day, I'm good to go for, like, 25 beers. And we always go...
3 get you to 25?
No, 3 to, like, warm myself up. Well, spread it out. We start drinking at 8 a.m.
Right.
For the parade? Yeah.
For the parade, yeah. No, you got to go to the thrift store, and you got to buy a funny outfit.
Sure.
And it's probably half ladies' clothes, but that's okay because it's Dingus Day.
You had a doozy that one year. I looked up, I go, are you kidding me? And someone goes, yeah, I go, that's Andy J from the track. They're like, yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
Like,
so you make a fun outfit and you just go drinking. And honestly, at this point, I don't think half my friends even want to go anymore because they're in 30s and they're starting to have kids. I'm like, no, I got to be a kid for 2 days a year. That's my deal with myself. So we take 2 days off and we go get drunk, and that's just it. You start at 8, and we make sure no one drives.
Right, sure.
Oh God, a couple years ago they lost me on the subway. I mean, just
yeah. So the one year I took the
it's
subway.
Serious, like, we drink.
There were people. So the subway stayed. I picked it up by UB, University of Buffalo, and there were people tailgating in the parking lot for the train.
Yep.
To go take the train.
Yeah, that's where we start.
I'm like, you tailgate in the train parking lot. That's Buffalo, though. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I lost my cell phone, my wallet there. Actually, so I came up with a system. I actually tied my wallet to a string to my belt loop just so I stopped losing. I still lost it that year.
Right.
But no, there's actually been races. So like the Southern Modified Tour, they'd start to try to do stuff on like Easter weekend, and I always would tell them, we'd plan to go to this modified race. We're like, well, like, Dingus Day's the next day. Like, I gotta fly if we're going to this race. And they're kind of giggle. I'm like, Like, no, like I go to Dingus Day. Like that's it. Like that's my deal. When I give up Dingus Day, I give up my childhood. Like I'm going on. Like I gotta have the balance.
Yeah. Like someone said, so what is it? Just like on a Monday after it's just Easter? It's just a
Monday after
day
Easter.
Yeah, get together and drink and
It's a celebration of the end of Lent.
End of Lent. And
Dingus Day is the most
Polish
fun.
people, yes.
Yeah, so they have a parade. They had this like polka concert where these guys do. Honestly,
Yeah.
like bring him. Like
Yeah.
it's the best day of the year.
I fit right in. I go to all them church festivals.
We shut down the east
gamble
side.
for beer.
Shut down the it's a great
So
time.
they actually had this whole deal where you buy a bus pass. There's like 40 bars that participate, and you just get drunk, and you can just like a bus that comes every 10 minutes. You go to a different bar.
Yeah.
They got concerts. You can go actually like in the east side, the Polish part. You actually drink inside of a church. You go inside the church, and the nuns will serve you alcohol.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not making this up.
What-
That's
No,
not
That's
fair.
so we have church festivals in the Catholics are drinkers.
Yep.
And we have church festivals in Milwaukee where you go to a church, you go to St. Rita's,
Right.
and the beer truck pulls up, there's a band, and then you gamble.
Right.
You're gambling, you're drinking,
Sure.
it's a church, it's money for the church.
The one year,
Same difference.
Dingus Day, the bus thing, I go, where are we? Someone says, I don't know. I go, I have no idea. That we kept getting on the bus. Yeah, so, hey, you know what? I'm going to wrap this. Hey, Stu Cluth says hello. All right.
Man, so
I'll see you this weekend when your dad gets inducted. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming on.
Of
I'm glad
course.
we put this
That's
together.
awesome. I'm glad it finally worked out.
We made a special show. We're supposed to be, but
My pleasure meeting you.
I've thoroughly enjoyed
you guys are awesome.
watching you
Hope you had
over
fun.
2 years.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait for the day where you take that ARCA win. I seriously hope so.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, two things.
So thank you.
I'd love to come help you in Daytona if you're driving a Ford.
I'm driving a Ford at Daytona.
I might be able to. And then I'd love to come volunteer in Atlantic City.
Come on down.
Yeah, they're walking and go, looks good. Let's go to the bar. That's how we-
That's a Suzuki though. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, Suzuki. You don't get. They just want to show.
No, I don't have.
just wants
I'm
to
on
go
the
to
fence.
Atlantic City.
It doesn't matter with that one.
All right.
I just want to volunteer. Yeah, I'm here in Atlantic City.
Come on down.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, Andy J. Thanks for being with us.
thank you
Keep
so
an
much
eye
for
on this
having me,
guy.
guys.
Sponsor this guy. Help this guy out. He's going places. Might be 33, but he's got a lot of racing left in him. Shall we say it?
Say it.
Good night, Dick.
Good night, Dick.
Good night, everybody.
Cheers.
See you in 2 weeks.
Cheers.
Wow, hey, another great show.
Great
Thank
show.
you so much, everybody,
Yep,
for tuning
enjoyed
in.
it.
We appreciate it. We do this every Tuesday night, and Warren, I think the guests we've had have been fantastic.
Phenomenal.
And the people that are following us, we appreciate it. We're reaching 42,000 people a month. Can you believe that? And we appreciate you watching. And
Right. We're having fun. Hope everybody else enjoys it.
that's it. And it's just a fun show. Bucket of beer, guys sitting around talking about it. So keep tuning in. We appreciate it. Check out our store and everything. But we appreciate you people, and we will see you next week, right, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next week.